YouTube, what's going on? Got a new video, and tonight I'm gonna go a different direction. You know, I typically don't follow with the algorithm. You know, I noticed when I came back to YouTube, I seen the pattern. You know, everybody that's somebody on YouTube usually takes the hot topic of the week and they all talk about it. You know, that's a way to get fast views. You know, it's just something everybody does, whether it's, you know, somebody or something that occurred for the week. You know, it goes up, everybody's talking about it, and I kind of didn't want to go that route. You know, I just wanted to find my way. You know, whatever pops for me is what I would do. You know, but today I'm gonna discuss why black women don't like Kevin Samuels. You know, it's kind of been a hot topic over the last 4 months. I've been following Kevin Samuels for every bit of a year now, and you know, I was hip to him before before the World Star Hip Hop video. You know, he was kind of popular when I got onto him, but you know, when the World Star Hip Hop video blew, that's when everybody got around to him, and that right there in itself is a big reason why black women don't like Kevin Samuels. You know, because first of all, look who broke him. World Star Hip Hop. You know, World Star Hip Hop doesn't paint black men and women in a good light anyway. You know, so they found him ripping this woman apart. You know, he told the woman she doesn't deserve a man that makes over $100,000. Told her she gonna die alone. And I don't know why you're gonna die alone is such an insult. I don't know why it bothers people so much. It's comical to me, but you know, that was what it was. You know, and a lot of black women felt like that video was an attack on black women. You know, they took that video very harshly, and Kevin Samuels can get very harsh. Doesn't matter who he's talking to, men, women, black, white, it doesn't matter. Everybody can get the same treatment from Kevin Samuels. You know, he's gonna give you an opportunity to come on and set the tone yourself. You know, when you come on, he's gonna greet you nicely, and if you return that energy, the conversation will go smooth. But if you come on trying to trump him, trying to prove him wrong, whatever the case, be disrespectful, he's gonna give you the same energy. That's just how I see it. So, as far as black women not liking Kevin Samuels, here it goes. You know, first off, Kevin Samuels does not hate black women. He doesn't hate women. You know, as I just said, he's equal as far as who he disrespects. So it is what it is. But what happens is a lot of these women come on his show thinking that they can prove him wrong. You know, some women call in trying to be the one that will defeat him in an argument. And here's the thing, you're not gonna just call his show and just feel like you can be disrespectful. You're not gonna take the discussion wherever you want to take it. You know, he's in control of his show. So if you're gonna call there, for one, you need to have your facts together. Two, you know, you state what you want and why you want it. So when these women call in, he usually has a formula. You know, he's gonna probe you with questions, and through those questions, he's usually gonna find out what the problem is. So when he's asking these questions, you know, he's asking questions based on appearance. He's gonna ask questions as far as what you want. He's gonna ask these women, what do they want? And he's gonna give you a chance to express that. He's gonna ask you, do you want a husband? Are you willing to accept a man on this quality or a man on this quality? He's going to ask those questions. He's going to ask, how did your past relationships turn out, because that's need to know information. He's going to ask, do you have children? He's going to ask, are you in school? He's going to ask what you do for a living. You know, questions that's important, he's going to ask. Through those questions, somewhere, he's going to find out what the problem is. And it may seem like projection because he finds the problem, and women translate that as he's looking for something wrong so that he can, you know, aha, you're wrong, you know. And if that's what it is, that's what it is. You know, his show has a certain direction. I'm not going to call it, but I can't get mad at it either. A lot of women don't like his tone. You know, he has a masculine frame. Regardless of how feminine you may feel like he moves, he has a masculine frame. So he's going to talk to women very aggressively. You know, he's going to be very brutally honest, and women don't like that. You know, women are used to men catering to them. They're used to men moving the goalposts for them so that they can win. They're used to people coddling them. They're used to just people letting them have their way. You know, and Kevin Samuels doesn't let you do that. So when you state what your problem is, he's gonna stick to it. He's not gonna let you tell him what your problem is and just skip right through it and let you keep talking. He's gonna focus right in on that problem, and he's gonna dissect it, and it might not feel good. And women don't like that. One thing he's gonna probe you about is your appearance. You know, he's gonna ask you what you rate yourself from 1 to 10. And I'm not gonna really get all into that. I would rather make a whole video about the 1 to 10 scale. But, you know, women tend to get offended by the 1 to 10 rating, you know, because he's going to ask you to rate yourself, and he's going to give you his rating just being realistic, you know. And women don't like that, because in women's eyes, women feel like everybody's a 10. And that's really damaging to society, to just like let everybody feel like a winner. But you know, he's gonna give you the reality, and it's gonna be harsh. You're not a 10, you know. And if he tells you what number you are, you don't necessarily have to accept it, but you know, just be realistic and understand why he's telling you that you're the number that he rated you. You know, he's gonna ask you your height, he's gonna ask you your weight, your dress size. And these are basically questions that he's asking so that he can generate whether or not you deserve the kind of man that you're looking for. And the kind of man that the majority of the women that call into his show are looking for is the man that makes over $100,000. That's the top 1% of men in the world. Not only that, they're looking for a black man that makes over $100,000. And these men basically have the option to pick whatever women they want. You know, they can go any class, they can go any beauty standard, whatever, and pick what they want. And they're usually going to get the hottest women, you know, the woman of the season, you know, the youngest, freshest woman. They're usually going to go for them. So your appearance is going to matter. You know, your 1 to 10 rating is going to matter. And anywhere from a 6 to a 10 can get their attention. They're mainly going to go for 8, 9s, and 10s. But, you know, you can slide with being a 6, being a 5 maybe. But mostly a 6. You can slide. So that's your ticket to get in the door. Your appearance. It's not the end all be all, and women need to stop focusing on that. Stop making it seem like that's his focus. That's just your ticket to get in the door. your appearance. You have to catch the top man's attention to get the top man, first of all. Once you have his attention, then you can, expose all of your qualities about yourself and everything like that. But first, you have to get his attention. Kevin Samuels is going to be a mirror. He's going to mirror whatever you are. So, when you give your story and he finds out the problem, he's going to show it to you. And he's going to let you know this is why you're not getting the results that you want. If you're fat or you have a bad attitude, you have kids, whatever the case may be, whatever your problem is, he's going to reveal it to you as you said it. He's going to ask you, if you were the type of man that had all these achievements, had everything going for you, you had all the options in the world, you could choose whatever you want, would you pick someone with these problems that you just named for yourself? He's gonna show you the mirror, and it shouldn't be offensive. So that is one reason why black women don't like Kevin Samuels right there. A lot of the times the shoe fits. The things that he says men don't want, men of high standards don't want, a lot of times those women fit the shoe. And they're not measuring up to what those men want. That gets a lot of women pissed off because they feel like the audacity that you can feel like I don't deserve you. But women do the same thing. Women are very choosy, very picky. Women will find any little reason for a man not to qualify to have her, whether it be his looks, his status, his behavior. It could be anything, Women will find a reason. So men also have reason to disqualify a woman when he's a high caliber, high quality man. So what a lot of women will do because they don't like Kevin Samuels is try to find a reason to trump him, to invalidate him. They want to find a reason that he's not qualified to speak to women the way he speaks to them. So what they'll do is they'll dig up his past, try and find, his felonies and him getting locked up. They'll try and figure out why he's been divorced. And let's speak on that. Nobody knows why Kevin Samuels was divorced twice. No one knows who his wives were. No one knows if it was his fault, her fault, whether she left or he left. Nobody knows. So you really can't invalidate the fact that he's been divorced twice. What you can say from that, though, is he's been married twice. So a person who's been married doesn't have to tell you how to get all the way through a marriage, how to have a successful marriage. That's up to you. No one can give you the blueprint to that. But what he can do is show you how to get there. He can tell you how to get there. So all of the qualifications that he asks you that you have or not, you should be able to meet those. Those are things that are going to get a ring on your finger and get someone to say I do to you. So saying that he's been divorced twice doesn't mean anything. A lot of times they might try and say that, someone hurt him, whether it be a woman from his past or his mother. They try and find any reason why he treats black women the way that he treats them. They try to say he has a little dick. I don't know why that matters, but it's typical black women behavior to call that out. They'll call him a homosexual. That's very, very immature. It's speculation for one. And being a homosexual changes nothing, it invalidates nothing. Kevin Samuels does have the mannerisms of a man that may be homosexual, but nobody knows. and at the same time, it really doesn't matter. So that's out the window. We can just stop trying to, the man's going up. His numbers are moving drastically on YouTube. With so many people that say they hate him, his followers are going up so fast. He's nearing 1 million followers as we speak. And just a month ago, he was at 500,000. He's very close to 1 million now. He's like at 800,000 followers now. Subscribers, I mean. And that's just on YouTube. I didn't even speak on Instagram. They'll try and discredit his old careers. He's not a dating coach, first of all. He's not a relationship coach. So we can throw out the whole who does he think he is, and he shouldn't be giving out dating advice and relationship advice. He's not a dating coach or a relationship coach. He's an image consultant. And people will look up that title and try and figure out who he's consulted to credit him or discredit him. They'll also look up his old careers. They're trying to figure out where he worked in the past. Did he really have a career in corporate America for the companies that he said he worked for? And it's just like, none of that matters. At this point, what he's doing has nothing to do with his past. So trying to find a way to call him a fraud, it's like, leave it alone. Like, just cap that shit, The man is successful right now. Bringing up his past is not going to change that. Trying to find a way to cancel him, just can that shit. Like, I'm sure he's strategizing against all of that. He's got a counter for all of that shit you're trying to find. Big reason why black women don't like Kevin Samuels is because he's undefeated in his arguments. A lot of the people that call Kevin Samuels are calling just to see if they can be the one that can win an argument with him. And where these women fail is he debates with facts and statistics. And when he brings out facts and statistics, women usually freeze up because they're arguing with feelings. They're arguing with how they feel. They're coming from emotion. So it's like when he brings up those facts and statistics and he tells them to challenge that, they have no answer. When he tells them, you may be right, but I have a friend that also, and it's like, that friend doesn't make sense. Whatever you were about to say, that but, it doesn't make sense. It's not going to be able to trump that fact that he just showed you. Now, here's the thing. Before Kevin Samuels was consulting with women on Instagram and YouTube, he was talking to strictly men. He was trying to get men where they needed to be career-wise. He was helping a lot of men who had problems breaking ice with women. A lot of loser-type men, incel kind of men, men who just didn't have the confidence, didn't have the know-hows and the how-tos to get wherever they needed to be. He was helping them. And that just didn't blow for whatever reason. I guess it wasn't interesting. I'm guessing there weren't enough men tuning in. I don't know. I wasn't tuned into Kevin Samuels at the time. But he definitely was talking to men. He was talking to them rudely, just like he does with women sometimes. But the difference between men and women is we know how to take constructive criticism. We're not taking it as a personal attack of disrespect. He's telling them what they need to know. He's telling them the blood raw truth about who they are. He's telling them that they need to change, and he's telling them how they need to change, why they need to change. And it's up to them whether they take the advice or stay the same. And if they choose to stay the same, that means they're choosing to continue losing. Women women, for some reason, can't grip that concept. They just have to take it emotionally, and they're internalizing the wrong information that's coming from his mouth. Instead of taking what needs to be taken in from what he said, they're taking in the insults. You know, a lot of women are just always feeling like, you know, why doesn't he talk to men? He should be giving the men all of this smoke. Well, he was doing it, he done it. It didn't blow up like how women are. So that's that. It is what it is. The whole concept of being a high value man is offensive. Sometimes men are offended by it, and a lot of women are offended by it, because a lot of people don't know what a high value man is. You know, so they take it in offense. They're looking at it as if he's feeling like he's better than everybody, and that he's trying to appeal to a black elite crowd, and that's just not the case, you know. And they're also trying to discredit his listeners, saying that they're not the caliber of man that he's talking about, so they shouldn't be taking advice from him. And it's like, what man wouldn't want to sharpen up on what he needs to better himself at? What man wouldn't want to strive to be better, strive for high value? You don't have to necessarily be high value for the information to resonate. And here's the thing about Kevin Samuels. There's no voice for black men from black men in the media. Whether you're talking TV, radio, magazines, blogs, social media, anybody that's speaking up for black men or giving an image of black men, they're not black men. You know, it's black women, it's white directors, white media people. Everybody's painting a picture of who black men are but black men. Kevin Samuels is trying to be the new face to open doors for all of the new men that are coming to redefine the black man and give a better image. You know, at YouTube we have what they call the Black Manosphere. That is where all of the black men collectively come together, and we host our content ourselves. Since no one else will give us a shot, we're doing it through YouTube on the Manosphere. And the Manosphere has all kinds of different content creators. You know, right now you have the red pill guys, they're on the forefront. You know, the guys who black women say hate black women. You know, the Tom Sotomayers and the Minister Japs and the O'Shea Du Jacksons and Kevin Samuels and Dr. T. Hassan. You know, there's a lot of guys in the Black Manosphere dropping all kinds of different content about different things, about bettering themselves. And that's the whole point. You know, it may seem like we're coming down on certain groups of people, but the main focus is for black men to better ourselves. So that is our Lincoln spot. That is our headquarters that we go to. We're not losers because we listen to other men on the internet give advice. You know, that is just our education center when we need advice on how to better ourselves through this life. Because nobody's going to help the black men except for black men. And speaking on black women just happens to come up every now and then. It is what it is. And, you know, I just respect Kevin Samuels because he's being the man on the forefront right now that's going to break us through the door so that black men can reshape who we are to the world. The world sees us in a negative light. We need to be seen in a different light. Respect Kevin Samuels. Let Kevin Samuels do whatever he's doing, and everybody behind him will come through, and there will be an open door for us to have our media platform. Maybe even our own platform in media. We might not have to just be under YouTube or under somebody's channel network. We can have our own network, you know? I'm respecting that, you know? Tyler Perry right now is the most famous black man that has power. However, Tyler Perry appeals to the women. He caters to women. So, as accomplished as he is, we can't look to Tyler Perry for help at this subject right here. So, give respect to Kevin Samuels. Let him open doors for the black men in the black manosphere to reshape the image of black men. Now, in black women's eyes, black men are undeserving. Black men don't deserve to be worked for. Respecting the black men is optional to black women. Black men don't look good enough in black women's eyes to be competed for. We don't make enough money. We're not trusted financially. So it's almost like the audacity for a man to start spreading the word to other black men that black men should have standards and that we should be picky with the women that we choose. We should just accept women the way they come and for who they are and with all their problems and everything like that. Listen, we have standards. We have a choice too. You know, we should not have to look like whatever your dream man looks like for you to respect us. We should not have to make millions of dollars to be respected. As long as we're going out, we're working hard to provide for our family, and we're actually making enough to do so, we should be respected. The man who makes $40,000 a year should not be looked over because he's not doing enough for a black woman. No, that's nonsense. No, women of every other race is willing to compete for a black man. I don't understand why women feel like they don't need to compete for us. I don't know why they feel like we're not worth competing for. You know, I don't feel like you should be coming for my appearance because you don't feel like I deserve to speak on black women and what black men should want. We deserve the respect, okay? It's that simple. And when Kevin Samuels is talking to these women, a lot of times black women will bring up marrying a black man of high status, and the first thing they'll do is say that he's probably gonna cheat or be abusive because he's covering her expenses, because he's sponsoring her life. And it's like, black men should not be seen negatively before we're seen positively. This is why we're trying to, you know, reshape the image of the black man, because whatever you're seeing that does not represent all black men doesn't represent the majority of black men. Like, we're not trusted to pay all of the bills. You know, the career field has always been hard on the black man, and black men basically have to create wealth for ourselves. We have to do it on our own because we can't really depend on jobs. If we do depend on jobs, that means we have to make whatever's given to us, which may not be enough to cover a black woman in the family, you know. So black women really don't trust us financially to cover them the way they would trust a man of another race, because Asian men don't have this problem with their families. White men don't have this problem with their families. Middle Eastern men don't have this problem with their families. And Hispanic men don't have this problem with their families. Everybody's able to go provide, create wealth, build communities, you know, get married with no problem, and have submissive wives. But for some reason, it's not, you know, like, they just can't see it for black men. You know, we have to we have to go above and beyond. We have to be super just to be viewed in that light. So when marriage to black men is discussed, it's usually negative. Like, we're talking the best of black men, they're gonna see it as we're gonna abuse them or cheat on them. And that's also another thing Kevin Samuels usually talks about, He usually says that when you get a high value man, that he's probably going to cheat on you. It's probably true. But that doesn't represent every man. He's just saying that the option is there, and if he wants to do it, he's going to do it. Now, as I was saying, Kevin Samuels is not a dating coach. He's not a relationship coach. He has these conversations in real life. He says he's been having them all his life, and now he's having it on an open platform, a big platform, where all of us can join in on the discussion and, address these topics. Black men, black women, like the productive black men and women, can discuss these topics. We can tell how we feel. We can tell black men and women what we want from each other. And we can just have this discussion. Even if it's not actually on Kevin Samuels' show, the show causes communities to have discussions on these same topics, as well as other shows on YouTube. So this is a good thing that Kevin Samuels is doing. That is his purpose, is to have the discussion. It's for black men to tell black women what we actually want. It's for black women to express what they want. It's communication. Right now it's a conflict, but with the right people, mature groups, we'll come to an understanding. These conversations that are being had, there's already groups of productive black men and women having these conversations. So this is a good thing that's being done right now with Kevin Samuels. And one thing black women don't like about Kevin Samuels is he's a no-nonsense kind of guy. It's like he wants all the smoke when you come for arguments. And usually he's not necessarily going to initiate the argument, but he's going to nip the bullshit in the bud. He spots the bullshit from a mile away, and he nips it in the bud. And that's usually how the arguments get started, because he's not going to just let you come on and tell these narratives that people normally believe from women. He's going to get to the root of the problem, because a lot of people, when they tell their stories, they leave out the part where they're supposed to be accountable. And Kevin Samuels is going to hold women accountable. And women don't like that, because most people usually cater to women. Most people usually believe women. And they usually let them have their way. Kevin Samuels is going to hold women accountable. When I say he's going to hold women accountable, that means he's going to make them admit that they were wrong. He's going to advise them, if they're not right with their appearance, he's going to advise them to do whatever the necessary is to reshape that, to change that. A lot of women don't feel like they need to put in work. They don't feel like they need to improve themselves in order to get a man. They feel like they should just be able to show up, and the man should just take them because they're here. And it just doesn't work that way, especially when you're trying to get a man that everybody wants. Now, when these arguments occur, a lot of these women don't like the facts that he's putting out. Now, one thing Kevin's gonna do is tell a woman what's likely to happen, what's highly likely to happen. And what women like to do is project an exception. They always know somebody who changed the narrative of a situation that was nearly a miracle. They always know somebody who had a miracle. And what they do is they live through these women who had these exceptional situations, and they feel like they're supposed to have the same results in their lives as the people that they know. And they take that as their truth. They argue with exceptions. They're the minority trying to win against the majority. Kevin Samuels might tell you most people who do XYZ normally result in a bad way, and they're gonna say, well, no, it's not, because I have a friend that had this same situation and they turned out fine, blah blah blah. And they're gonna base their experience that hasn't happened yet on what happened with their friend, what happened with someone that they know, their coworker or whoever. And it's just like, he's telling you what's likely to happen. He's showing you the results in the numbers. He's showing you real statistics of what happens to people in these situations. And you just gonna have the faith of a mustard seed. And you wanna be the exception. And women usually don't like Kevin Samuels doing that. They feel like every outcome is supposed to go in their favor. And the thing is, Kevin Samuels tells these women what they need to do. He gives them advice. He tells them what their problem is. He tells them what they need to do. And they don't want to take the advice. They call the show in. They have a problem. They ask him what to do or what he thinks. And he tells them. And they want to argue. Instead of just taking the advice, they want to argue. So arguing says that I'm going to continue doing what I was doing, and I'm going to continue losing in life. And it's like, if you don't want to win, you don't want better results, you shouldn't be asking for advice. Like, people who have been here, they've been around longer than you, they've seen more than you, they've experienced what you've experienced. If they're able to tell you what to do, just follow the advice. I don't understand how that's so hard. So it's like, there's many reasons why black women don't like Kevin Samuels. Everybody wants to trump him. Everybody's waiting on that moment for him to be exposed or for him to lose an argument, him to be trumped, for someone to put him in his place. And it's like, whether that happens or not, that's not going to change his success. It's not going to make everybody say, okay, let's stop watching Kevin Samuels. He's not just going to go away, Someone hotter may come around later down the line and overshadow him. But for the most part, Kevin Samuels is on a pace to go past the YouTube and into a bigger platform. Could be TV, who knows? His destiny is his destiny. You being upset with him is not going to change anything. You spreading the word, telling people not to listen to him, is not going to make him unsuccessful. If anything, it's going to be free promotion. Like I said, his subscribers is growing rapidly. And that's because people are sharing videos or whatever. People are having discussions about how much they hate him. And that's bringing interest to other people to watch him. So, you are not going to stop his success. You're not going to cancel him or whatever the case. For somebody who doesn't like someone, the best thing you can do is not give them attention. And this is what is so funny to me about the women who don't like Kevin Samuels. It's because they don't like him. However, they find every opportunity. They will not miss an opportunity to join a discussion, to tell how much they hate him, and to drag his name in the mud. And it's like, none of that is necessary. If you don't like a person, you just don't fuck with him. It's that simple. He's trending. So it's inevitable that he's going to show up on your timeline, but you don't have to give your energy to it. You don't have to give it attention. And that was my video. That was what I think of why black women don't like Kevin Samuels. I gave my best effort to be in his defense, to kind of clarify what he's actually here for versus what you think he's here for. And you either gonna like him or you're gonna hate him. It is what it is. If you have any disagreements, the comments are there. I'm not gonna go back and forth and argue in the comments, but the comments are there. So like, share, subscribe. If you watch this whole video, I appreciate it. Thank you for following my channel. Till next time.